We are here. I'm happy like a fat kid love cake on a wedding day on Christmas because we got NHL hockey back. Preseason, whatever the fuck it is for hockey. But hockey is on. We don't have to sit here and stare at ourselves. I'm going to mic check myself real quick. So if you hear myself double, it's because I'm mic checking. Just make sure everybody out there can hear me. And then I'm going to get going with the predictions. And I'm going to stop paying attention to this and start watching the fucking Islanders game. Because lucky be me, the first day I looked, there's a fucking Islanders game on. Not even just NHL. I got to look forward to all hockey, mostly Islanders. Let's go. UFC Mexico City. Oh, shit. UFC Mexico City coming up. A bunch of good fights on this card. Main event going to be Jeremy Stephens versus Yair Rodriguez. First fight of the main card is going to be Martin Bravo going up against Steven Peterson. A clash at 145. Let me go back here. Hopefully this is working. I'll pull this up right here. Let's see. So I have something pulled up. Make sure I'm good. Yep, not freezing, not nothing. Good deal. Martin Bravo, Steven Peterson. Bravo is 11-2. He's currently on a 2-fight losing streak after killing off his undefeated record. He's 1-2 in the UFC. 9 out of 11 of his wins are via finish. 4 by submission, or 4 by KO, 5 by submission. His last fight was a split decision loss to Alex Caceres. That was July 6th, 2018, for a year ago now. Peterson 17-9. He's also on a 2-fight losing streak. He dropped decisions to Luis Pena, and then most recently Alex Caceres also. So they both got losses to Alex Caceres. Peterson, more experienced. Martin Bravo took a little time off. Did Nate Diaz good, but, didn't do Dominic Cruz so good. Yeah, it just really depends. It depends on, who you are, the way you're training when you're gone. 12 out of 17 of Peterson's wins are by finish, 8 by submission, 4 by knockout. Could be a good ground game, could be a good stand-up fight. This one's kind of up in the air for me. I'm going to go Martin Bravo to snap out of his losing streak. He's going to get a win here. More than likely by submission. I'm not going to guess, for this fight at least, any kind of a finish because it'd be too hard to predict that. So I'm going to say Martin Bravo by decision. And you got Irene Aldana, who was supposed to fight, I forget the chick's name, but she's now fighting Vanessa Melo. 135. Aldana is 10-5, 3-3 inside the UFC. 8 out of 10 of her wins are also by finish. You don't see a lot of finish in the women's division, so it's good to see that she finishes more often than none. She's only been finished. Knockout twice, never been submitted. 2 of her losses are by knockout, and she's never been submitted. It's good to hold on to that for just a minute. Her last fight was split decision loss to Raquel Pennington back in July. While Vanessa Melo is going to be making her UFC debut, she's also 10-5. She has a win over Millie McCann way early on in her career, 2015, so maybe 4 years ago or so. On the regional scene, only 2 out of 10 of her wins are by finish, so she is not a finisher. She gets it. She wears it out. She gets the fights to go all the way to the distance. I think there would be zero threat of a submission to hurt Aldana's record, and then it's just depending on who's a better stand-up person, Aldana or Melo. And just because we've seen Aldana more, I'm just going to go with Irene Aldana. I just think it would be a little hard to say that somebody who's never fought in the UFC before is going to be able to come in and beat a girl that's fought, 6 times in the UFC? At what, though? Like, what is she going to beat her at? She can't beat her on the ground, obviously. She's not going to try to stand up with her. So how are you going to beat a girl that's got that much experience in the best organization in the world? I don't see it happening. I got Irene Aldana. maybe by a submission or a knockout, but I think most likely by a decision. Two decisions to start off the main card of UFC Mexico City. Then you got Brandon Moreno making his return to the UFC, going against Askarov. Moreno is 15-5. Was cut by the UFC earlier this year. Went and beat, I think his name is Mikael Perez over in LFA by knockout, and he was resigned immediately. 10 out of 15 of his wins are by submission, and he has also never been finished in his life. He's going up against Askarov, who is 10-0, making his UFC debut. It's a really people are looking forward to this guy's debut because they think he could be the next big thing at that weight class. All 10 of his wins are finishes. 6 of them are by submission. So while Moreno has never been submitted, over half of Askarov's finishes are submissions. It's kind of hard to guess there. It's just kind of whether you're going to say Brandon Moreno is going to make the UFC brass proud that they brought him back, or is it going to be Askarov who's going to make everybody proud, saying that, you did the right thing by bringing me here. I am going to be the next big thing. It's kind of hard. I think it's definitely going to be a lot of mental things back and forth. Like I said, the two different aspects of the way you're thinking coming into the fight, where Brandon Moreno's kind of thinking, they let me go, they brought me back, got to prove myself that I'm worthy of them bringing me back, and Askarov's got to prove that he's worthy of them bringing him there in the first place. I think, 10 finishes. To say maybe, you take away his 10-fight winning streak, his undefeated streak, maybe that, but, 10 straight finishes, all wins, and then you're going to come in and beat him on the biggest stage. I just don't see it. I'm going to give it to Askarov. And I haven't done too well on picks, man. I think I won like 7-5 last week for Vancouver. I haven't done too well. So, don't hold me to it. Don't put your money on what I'm saying. I'm just saying it feels like it's in more of a win situation for Askarov, as to where they probably brought Moreno back on more than a one-fight deal. So he's it's a big deal for him to get his first fight back into the promotion, get a win. But I don't think it's as big a deal as it is for Askarov at this point in his career. So I'm just going to go with Askarov. Co-main event, Carlos Esparza was doing very, very, very good this past year, going against Alexa Grasso. Esparza is 14-6, 1-0 in 2019, got a decision win over Viana Jordoba back in April. She's 31 years old, pioneer of the sport, one of the first champions of her weight class. I think they gave her that she was the champion. She fought Joanna for the original to see who she was. The original. She was an originator of that weight class. It's good to see her back in the mix. Alexa Grasso, of course, coming up very, very fast right now. I think, what is she on? She got a win over Karolina Kovacevic just recently. So Kovacevic also at the top of the division, top 3-5 fighters in that division. And 11-2, never been knocked out, only been submitted once. So as far as the chances of finishing her, I'm not too sure of. But what you could be sure of is that Esparza's got great cardio, and she's gonna, if she cannot get finished, she will be able to prolong that fight and outwork Alexa Grasso in the later rounds, the second, the third round, which is what I think is going to happen. I don't think Alexa Grasso is going to be able to finish Carlos Esparza early. It'd be crazy to see. Everybody wants to see finishes. I think the Askarov fight is going to be a finish. Other than that, we're looking at 3 out of the 5 main card fights as decisions, because I'm going to go with decision here. I'm going to go Carlos Esparza by decision. And while I love Alexa Grasso, I think Alexa Grasso is going to do great in the UFC. For me, it's kind of like, there's news going around right now that Anthony Pettis wants to fight Diego Sanchez for whatever reason. Anthony Pettis is at the top of his division. Now he wants to go back and fight Diego Sanchez. Not in top 15. It's fighting guys like Mickey Gall. Just guys not close to breaking the top 15. And now Anthony Pettis wants to give him a shot. If Diego Sanchez beats Anthony Pettis, Diego Sanchez is, boom, right back in the mix. He's like 36 years old or whatever, and he's like probably top 10, now just boom, because he beat Anthony Pettis, who was like number 3 or number 4 before he lost to Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? But that's kind of where I'm at with that. It gives Diego Sanchez more of a chance. It doesn't really do much to Anthony Pettis. He's already on a 1-fight losing streak. He goes on a 2-fight losing streak. They push him back to like 13. They're going to let him fight number 8 or so. Maybe even a rematch with Diego Sanchez. They push Diego Sanchez higher. If the fight was good enough, still gives him a chance to get in the mix. He's not out of the picture with a loss here. As to where he's looking at the fight with Diego Sanchez like, this is like the most winnable fight of my career. I just got off beating Stephen Thompson, the only man ever to knock out Stephen Thompson. And I'm going to go to a guy that's not ranked in the top 15. So I know they got mutual respect for each other. I know they come from kind of the same age group around, fighters. But, it's not a fight that I would think Anthony Pettis should take. I'm ecstatic for Sanchez if he lands that fight, though, because if Sanchez somehow wins, he is 30 whatever years old, right back for Diego Sanchez. But for that same reason, I want Carlos Esparza to win just because Alexa Grasso is not done after this. But if we can give if we can give Carlos Esparza one more chance at the belt, especially when all these chicks, Rose, Jessica Andrade, Wally Zhang, they win it. Well, Wally Zhang didn't lose it yet, but they win it and then they lose it. Bang, bang, bang. Carlos Esparza gets in there into the mix, throws her name in there, gets a fight, outworks a chick. So I think that's how Esparza gets her wins done in the UFC right now. How she's gonna get majority of her wins done are going to be just outworking them until they get so tired and they're not able to either fully defend themselves or fully keep up with the pace of Carlos Esparza in the third round. And if Carlos Esparza could outpace any fighter in the third round, it's over. It's over. She's definitely got you 1-1 going in the third. And in the third, she just outworks you. Boom, that's 2-1. She got you. 3-round fight, it's easy for Carlos Esparza, I would assume. 5-round fight, it's a little bit more. If she still has the cardio advantage, she still has the advantage in the fight, period, because now it's longer. So now if you can get tired in a 3-round fight, you're going to get tired in a 5-round fight. But how fresh will Esparza be in 4 or 5 rounds? Because we haven't seen her in that type of fight in, I'd have to say, close to fucking 6-7 years, maybe. 7, 8 years, maybe. But it's been a long time since she's been in a 5-round fight. Who knows? Who knows how that's going to go? But for that pick, I got Carlos Esparza. Yair Rodriguez, Jeremy Stephens, huge fight, huge main event. Couldn't happen at a better place. Mexico City. Yair Rodriguez, Mexican descent, 11-2. Both his losses were by knockout. One was by Frankie Edgar. One was from Roberto Herrera, very early in his career. His UFC run before the Frankie Edgar fight included wins over Dan Hooker, Andre Fili, Alex Caceres, and then BJ Penn on his first comeback fight. Then, of course, he lost to Frankie. And then his most recent fight was a knockout over the Korean Zombie, where he was getting beat the entire fight by Korean Zombie. And then, of course, we know that last-second elbow that he kind of just ducked down and threw an elbow up behind him. And landed on the Korean Zombie, and boom, he got himself a knockout, and then right back in the winning column, and right back to challenge another killer in Jeremy Stephens, who was 28-16